more of a summer type of thing, or like we live in Florida type of deal, and it rains every night. Just because it gets so hot and then the air becomes saturated with, dew point just maxes out, and we just get showers, and then that kind of gets everything, the atmosphere back in stable, and that's the way it is. I mean, there's definitely no chance of any kind of organized weather event at all. It's all just going to be basically just pop up little rain showers and maybe a chance of a thunderclap or two.
Yeah, well, I remember the other night when you and I were talking, we were discussing about all this rain coming in. And at times it was pretty heavy, the rain was. Actually, this morning, going in, right at the interchange of Dallas, what was that now? 35E and George Bush Tollway, where it starts to curve around to the south, right at that interchange. I mean, it was some heavy rain. I had to slow down. Didn't matter how fast I had the wipers going. It wasn't helping. So we had some pretty good rain out of this. It was light at times, but it was overall average, and it was good. Lake Lavon's got some nice amounts of water in it. Lake Ray Hubbard is nice and maybe not filled up all the way, but it has a good amount of water in it. But when I was watching that this morning, I remember you said it's going to be a tropical type atmosphere and these summer type pop-up storms. Sometimes those are pretty good storms too, James. Sometimes they can really pack a punch. K5OUN and AA5HL.
Now, I mean, the biggest issue they normally have is microbursts and things like that. If they've just got enough stability to them to where they can actually get tall, but then they rain themselves out pretty quick, and they fall and they collapse, and then you get microbursts out of the base of the storm from the collapsing air parcels. But yeah, beyond that, it's going to be like if we lived in Galveston type of deal. You know how it is. You've been to Florida. You know how it rains pretty much every day in the evening. Be that deal. 10%, 15% coverage.
Yeah, I know at the airport and whatnot on the Terminal Doppler weather radar, we usually, this is where it can really go through its tests. It's kind of nice to have it go through its tests with these types of storms. And this is also where it gets fun in the air traffic environment, let me tell you, because when you have these pop-ups, they usually thread the planes through them. And it's really fun to sit next to them and listen to them threading these planes through them and passing one plane under another and so forth. I always look forward to this type of thing going on. But it's unusual for this type of year, for this time of year, this type of thing going on. But I don't know, I kind of like it. I'm a tropical weather kind of guy. I'm also a desert weather type of guy. I like the desert too. It's a little crazy, but that does the job. It's warm, This past summer, I kind of liked the days when it was pretty hot and the sun was sitting in the western sky, and you kind of had that gray orangey ball, the gray sky with the orangey ball in it, and it was hot outside. I don't know. I kind of like that stuff. It almost looks like something from another country, maybe out in the Sahara Desert or something. But we're starting to head in that time of year again. Look at this, the clock's set ahead. Here it is, 8 o'clock, and the sun is just starting to set now at 8 o'clock. So, okay, my favorite time of year is coming in.
It's like summer because I like to do, if I can do things outside. I mean, even when it's hot, I can handle that. Now, not saying this winter we didn't really have much of a winter. Even never really got cold.
No, it didn't. And you could have done stuff during the winter time, A couple of days in there where it was kind of chilly, but that's it. And I'm like you, in the summertime, I dress even more laid back than I do in the winter, and I usually just take it easy and go and enjoy myself outdoors someplace. Sometimes I go over to Sundance Square in Fort Worth in the summer and walk around, look around, sit around on a patio, that type of thing. And that's good weather to do it.
Buddy down in Maypearl had to get together last night and sent me a text wanting me to come down, and I was like, man, I mean, he doesn't even have a paved driveway, and it was raining all last night, and I was like, yeah, no, that means we're going to get stuck in that trailer house they've got, and it's going to be smoky as all get out. You can't go outside because it's raining, and then, yeah, I'm going to have to go through the non-paved driveway to park. I was like, no, let me know when you do it next time.
Yeah, I was about to say the Forte I don't think would like that too much. Although you might be able to get it in and out of there okay. It might get stuck.
Yeah, I mean, I could probably get in and out, but it was just, I mean, as long as I stayed on the main kind of gravel driveway part, I'd probably been all right. But that'd just be a muddy mess, and plus, I didn't really know they all smoke, and I don't know if I want to be stuck in a single wide trailer with about 5 people smoking.
Well, James, as a smoker myself, I couldn't do it. No, I can't handle a lot of smoke around me. And it's funny because, at work, everyone goes into a room, and it's not really that big, and it has a couple of couches and recliners and whatnot, and there's people just smoking in there. And after a while, even personally myself, I have to get up, I have to get out of there because it's just too much. Now the old timers, they're, they have 2 and 3 cigarettes lit and they're breathing in everyone's smoke. I can't do that. No, that's just not me either.
Okay with smoke, I mean, but man, when you just you can't see 3 foot in front of you because it's like a smoky haze, that's whenever my eyes are watering, and it's like, man, it's like being in a house fire.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely it is. That's just, no, I couldn't do that. Too many. It's just too much. I went to a party in 1991 up in New York, and everybody in my aunt's apartment smoked, and except for my cousin Michael and his sister-in-law, who was really young at the time. They were both young. They were 13 or something like that, 10, 13, somewhere around there. The rest of everybody smoked. My Uncle Frank, my cousin Tricia, cousin Tony, Aunt Gail, Uncle Joe, Aunt Lori, everyone was smoking. I was, at the time, the whole bit, and it just got to be too much, Luckily we could go outside, but it was just too much.
I think smoking was more prevalent years ago. I remember when I was younger, it was cheap too. I mean, I remember when I first was in high school and smoked some, and you could go buy a pack of smokes for $1, man. We used to go up to Oklahoma, up to before Windstar was there. Right there in Thackerville was an Indian smoke shop next to a gas station. Gas station's still there, smoke shop's gone. And but it's right there where Windstar is now. And man, we used to be able to go in there and buy a big old 50-pack of cigars for $10. Now, what's a cart of Marlboro? Well, we were buying Marlboro cartons for under 20.
Yeah, I've stopped in Thackerville before and picked up those American Spirit cigarettes, which I don't like, but I've stopped in there and bought those for dirt cheap. It's in Thackerville. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know if it's still there. It used to be a separate building. That there's a well, now it's like a truck stop, like a travel stop or something down there. But there was this, there used to be a Texaco or something like that, and there was a smoke shop next to it. But like I said, I don't know if it's still at the smoke shop there. I know the separate building's not there anymore. It's all one big gas station. But that was before Windstar existed. It was like a bingo hall or something over there.
Yeah, K5OUN and AA5HL mobile for ID. There's a smoke shop there. That's where I got those. At least it was. Now this is going back in 2003. That was the last time I did that, and that's where I bought them. And I bought a couple packs. I didn't like them at all. I don't know what it was. Just weren't any good. So I just left it alone. But yeah, I remember that was exactly in Thackerville. Yeah, yeah. You know what? Like I said, that's the difference actually between smoking cigarettes and when you have the Middle Eastern the hookah in the hookah lounges. You know that smoke dissipates; it doesn't linger, and it actually has a good smell to it, and it doesn't hurt. At least it doesn't hurt my eyes. I've matter of fact, I've smoked that thing in front of my parents, and they were surprised at how light that smoke was. It doesn't hurt the eyes, and it doesn't smell bad, and it doesn't even linger. It's gone. There was no trace of it in their house. So they were kind of enthralled to how that thing worked. So I had put some mint tobacco in there, and I had showed them some of the other flavors. I have the pina colada and whatnot. They kind of like that. That you probably wouldn't have a problem with.
I mean, it's pipe tobacco, basically is what it is. And pipe tobacco is really cool. I mean, it's really great. But smoking a pipe is just kind of a pain. I haven't seen a guy smoking a pipe in a long time. But you still sell it. I mean, you can still go and buy pipe tobacco, pretty prevalent. I've smoked some cigars that were made with pipe tobacco, but I don't think they're quite as good as a true pipe. But
You know what? I agree. You're right. Do you remember you used to be able to go into malls, and not only could you smoke in the mall, I remember smoking in the mall several times, but you used to be able to go into malls and had the tobacco shops in there, and you had those glass containers, those sealed glass containers with the pipe tobacco in them, the Captain Black and the different blends that they had. They were like several rows, maybe 3 or 4 rows of them, and you would take the lid off the jar and you'd smell it. Oh, those were just wonderful smells. And you could tell a guy you want, I don't know, maybe a certain amount of Captain Black Cherry or something like this. They were kind of like in those glass canisters you would use in your bathroom.
yeah, I think some malls still have those. They sell other things. They sell statues and it's a bunch of stuff. I mean, they sell smoking accessories mostly, but they usually have a humidor and stuff in them.
Yeah, you're right. And Up in Smoke was the name of the place. That was it, Up in Smoke. Now there's not one anymore over here in Collin Creek, and there's not one over here in the shops at Willow Bend, and I'm not even sure about up there where the one you like up there in Frisco. But if I remember correctly, there is one in North Park, Up in Smoke. That's the name of it.
Yeah, I think there's one in Arlington, and there might be one in Stonebriar, but I don't know. But yeah, shops at Willow Bend, mine's a little too high end, I think, for it. But yeah, probably shops at Legacy and shops at Willow Bend. That's a little bit too much for them.
Yeah, you're probably right. If you did find, something, I was in a smoke shop in the Galleria. That is another place that has a place like that. Galleria does. I know for a fact. I used to go in there, I used to buy these cigarettes sometimes called Nat Sherman. And they were black cigarettes with a gold filter. And they were kind of expensive. I didn't buy them all the time. Every once in a while I did. And they weren't even a cigarette that I smoked all the time. I would just pull them out on a special occasion or something like this. And I had one of those silver cigarette cases and a matching lighter. I wonder what I did with all that stuff. I don't have it anymore. I guess it's because I'm not as serious about smoking as I used to be.
Yeah, I used to smoke, I guess it's British cigarettes, man. They come in like a light blue and a red and I think a dark blue pack. I don't remember what the name of them are. They're real thin, but they're long. The pack is real long. It's real thick, but it's not very, it's real long and like width, but it's not very thick. But, yeah, I used to smoke those and really enjoyed them. But yeah, I've mostly smoked cigars. I mean, that's mostly been what I've ever smoked in my life.
Oh yeah, a cigar is good. No question about it. Especially with a Scotch. Oh man, that's great. That's living right there. Some of those British cigarettes, one of the brands was called Embassy 555. I used to get those once in a while over in an Indian grocery store.
I can't believe I don't remember what those British ones were. They had two flip-top lids, one on each side, and they were individually wrapped. Like 10 of them were wrapped, and then the other 10 were wrapped. Man, I don't remember what they were called. I don't remember. I think they started with a B or something, but it's been so long. I'm sure I can find them online in about 5 minutes. But
yeah, and if they're individually wrapped, that's a high-class smoke right there.
yeah, they were pricey. But, well, that's another thing that's driven a lot of people away from smoking. I mean, not only is there so much of, they've outlawed it, they've tried to push it away, but, man, they just got so expensive. I mean, man, $3.76. That place I got gas the other day when I was talking to you over in Duncanville, I got it for like $3.62. Well, now it's $3.78. But I saw when I was driving through DeSoto, there were several places that had it for $3.51 still.
Yeah, on the way home, there was a guy changing the sign over at Beltline and Preston at the Exxon over there. He was changing that sign to 3.7 and then question mark because he hadn't finished putting the numbers up. Of course, I started bracing myself for 3.79. This week is going to be a telltale week. If we can hit through 3.35 a gallon on the wholesale market, 3.40 a gallon on the wholesale market, I think the sky's the limit until everything collapses. We have to break through a certain mark. That's what I would bet my money on actually is going to happen here.
Well, Chevy might actually sell some of those bolts if that happens. Those are a real great idea. But, yeah, we'll see if, but it'll turn into the way it was, 4 or 5 years ago. If you remember when gas got real high, people will be giving away, big cars and trucks and SUVs. And, you won't be able to find cars like mine or Civics or, anything like that.
I believe you're right. That's exactly what happened. I remember that. You could pick up a Suburban, even a Cadillac Escalade if one were inclined. You could pick those up almost at fire sale prices when that happened.
And they were all upside down in them, and you had people going in trying to unload these things, $10,000 in the hole in them, and then trying to buy whatever they could. That's whenever, remember, that was when that little Toyota hybrid, Prius, I think is what it is. When that, Prius has had like a 6 month or something back order on them.
Yeah, they sure did. That's when they hit their pinnacle. That was right at their peak. Yeah, no question. Well, that's what I'm banking on this time. I'm banking on the same thing might happen. Well, probably will, in fact. I think you're right. And then what I'm banking on is that it's going to reach a boiling point, basically. And, when the pot boils over, it's going to collapse, and, because it's a bubble. And when the air collapses out of that bubble, it's going to take it right back down, quite possibly again to below $2 a gallon.
What happened before? It aided in the destruction of the economy, and then nobody had money to pay $4 a gallon for it. So demand went down, and then it went to $1.99 a gallon.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I can remember in the mid-cities, in December of 2009, you could pick up a gallon of gas I saw for as low as $1.29. I remember that exactly. At the QT at Central and 183.
I believe it, man.
Yeah, it'll happen again. It's like every other bubble that collapses. It's like every other bubble that pops. Only this one, the air has been building yet again quickly for the last 3 or 4 years. So when it goes, it's going to go. And it's going to take elements of the economy with it. That's just the way it works. And that's what I'm banking on, to tell you the truth. This time I might get smart and get my brother in on it, and we'll buy barrels of oil. The last time we were going to, I called up and made an inquiry about it. And even at $29.9 a barrel, I couldn't afford to do it. There was no way it was going to happen. So this time I'm going to look at buying barrels of unleaded gasoline.
Well, I think a lot of it's going to depend on what Israel does. Depending on how that Israel-Iran thing floats out is going to be really important.
Yeah, it is. And they're not going to do anything. I can guarantee that right now. They're not going to do anything. There's a lot of rhetoric being shifted around, but it's just not a good time to be doing something like that. And no time this year, actually, and quite possibly no time next year. It would be a very unwise move.
That's kind of how I feel about it. That, Phil was really going off. Oh, it's just a matter of time, Israel. I'm like, yeah, well, I very seriously. I mean, there's a kind of like blocking the strait. I think it's all just talk. I mean, just to try to flex their muscles and say, look, we can do it.
Yeah, I agree. K5OUN and AA5HL for ID. I agree with you. You know, the big thing is this. Iran knows what they're up against should they do what they're being told not to do. They know. They're not stupid. Then they're actually somewhat rational. That government is. But at the same time, let me just tell you this. Israel knows that if they did it, if they did the attack, they will be, unfortunately, Tel Aviv will have tens of thousands if not tens of thousands of rockets raining down on it that they could not intercept. It would be a tremendous hit. It would be horrifying to see over here on this side of the pond.
Longer to get up here than I thought, but I kind of figured it would. I guess a little bit. Almost 8:30. Oh well, I guess as long as I get clocked in by 9, I'll be okay. I think I've got close to an hour of comp time anyway, as it says. So at that rate, I can still leave about 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Man, I'm over here at Target. I'm going to run in and get me some yogurt and stuff. Be back out for another minute, just on my way to the office. And then I'm about a mile away from the office now. But you going to the store, or what are you up to?
Yeah, I'm in the store parking lot right now, and things are sounding good here, to tell you the truth. Nice and clear, no interference, or we're actually overcoming the interference, and things are working great right here. So it's good to hear that and see that. But yeah, I'm going to run in here and get a couple things, and then head on to the house myself. I'll probably end up talking to you tomorrow. Tomorrow's my day off, so I may hear you sometime tomorrow.
All right, very good. Yeah, it's actually pretty quiet up here. It's better than it has been. But also, we're kind of getting in it when the sun's going down, so there may be some ducking going on. But all right, Dave, have a good one, man. Anything, give me a shout. AA5HL, K5OUN.
All right, you bet. We'll holler at you later. Have a good one, and enjoy the evening at work. We'll see you later. K5OUN, AA5HL Mobile. See you.